As Jackie just mentioned, one of the president's goals in California is to reportedly hammer out some sort of a deal on a crackdown on fentanyl stuff from China.
And in preparation of the trip, California's Governor Gavin Newsom is implementing the Golden Gate Sweep, cleaning the city's crime and drug-ridden streets before Xi comes to town. And here to react is former Vice President Mike Pence, along with his daughter Charlotte Pence Bond. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, guys. Great to see you again.
Great to see you. Mr. Vice President, I want to ask you about the irony here. You have China coming into our country. They're going to California. The streets are riddled with all kinds of drug paraphernalia. They're cleaning all of that up. 3,000 people died in San Francisco because of fentanyl in the last 4 years. What's your reaction?
Well, my reaction is, and you all know, 5 years ago, I attended the APEC summit in Papua New Guinea with President Xi, and I thought China only understands strength.
Right.
And the fact is that these cosmetic changes, number one, they ought to be. San Francisco is a wonderful city. Should have cleaned it up, the whole homeless issue, the drug issue a long time ago. Keep it clean. But I'm more concerned about ensuring that that this administration send a clear message of American strength after military provocations, after the balloon incident, after buzzing our aircraft, buzzing our ships. I think this administration, since Afghanistan, has sent a message of weakness that has encouraged aggression in authoritarian regimes, and more than anything else, I think we've got to project to Xi, as I did 5 years ago in our administration, we got to project to Xi that we're going to cede to our treaty allies in the Asia Pacific. We're going to strengthen our economy, and a lot of what I think we also have to get back to is the fundamentals. I've always believed, as I know you all do, that the strength of this country comes from the faith and the families of America, and it's part of what inspired the book that we're releasing today about how we go home for dinner, how we strengthen America. But a strong America is the right antidote to Chinese continued provocations and aggression.
All right, so a perfect transition. Charlotte, let's start talking about your book that you and your father wrote, Go Home for Dinner. You grew up, your dad was in politics. He was a vice president. He missed a lot of dinners, or did he? Was he always trying to get home?
Yeah, he was. The title of the book is really special for us, I think, just as a family. I think my dad tried to be home for dinner as much as possible and was home a lot of nights. I mean, we talk about in the book, we went into the Capitol sometimes. We would bring him dinner, sometimes just have dinner together. And I think just when you have a really busy life and it's really hectic, just making sure your family knows you're making every effort to be together as much as possible.
Because it's not just a meal.
No.
It's the stuff you talk about. It's going through the day.
Yeah. Steve, people used to ask me when I was first in Congress, kind of a flattering question like, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And I'd always say, home for dinner. Mm-hmm. I never need people to encourage me to be ambitious or to want to make a difference in the world. But as we write about in the book, for me, from the time that Charlotte and her brother and sister showed up very young and I was working back in talk radio, you've got to be intentional about shutting off the computer, closing the day planner, and walking upstairs and sitting at that table. At least I did. And so, the admonition here of really encouraging people that what can I do to strengthen this country? I think it's to go home for dinner. Mm-hmm. Sit down with your spouse, sit down with your kids, hear them out. And that was really the inspiration for this book.
Yeah. Y'all have to pick up the book. You tell some funny stories about growing up and what dinner was like for you. Your parents were smoking their cigarettes. How we all grew up with our parents. And there was smoke hovering over your milk. I'm sure your dinner at home was a little bit different.
Yeah, I was just literally, my mom's 90 years young. She's probably watching this morning. I don't know that she liked that part of the book. But
it was normal.
It's reporting.
But that
we all
was the thing.
smelled like cigarettes. They smoked inside when we were growing up.
The Bible says God puts the lonely in families. And the truth is, the American family's in a lot of trouble today. And Charlotte and I write about that at the end of the book. I mean, it was not long ago that, that 1 in 10 American households just had one person living alone, and now it's about a third of American households. And so, but growing up, it wasn't glamorous to be home for dinner. I mean, we were seen and not heard.
Right, couldn't talk.
Meatloaf again.
But it was a meeting. It was a meeting grounds, and it really is where I think people learn how to deal with one another and
learn to talk through conflicts too. I think is a big thing.
And you said grace every night, which is an important, that small little task of just obedience to the Lord. I love that.
It is a beautiful book. It's perfect for holiday time and holiday giving. Check it out. Go Home for Dinner.
It's a great title.
Mike Pence, Charlotte Pence Bond. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.